And here we are for Rauta's March stream 2026 and all. Welcome to the stream and make your questions ready. So here we are once again with no particular topic except there are a couple of things. And of course, there's gonna be a random giveaway. Let's see which CD I have here. Alright, got one ready here. And maybe we'll do another if there are more people, more stuff. I'll announce it on the way. So, once again, the rules are very simple. No censorship. You can ask me anything. You can comment anything. But if you want to make sure that I am actually answering, tag me like this, so you will see it. So, hello, Jonse Red Rocks. How are you doing? Did you receive my February package? I hope you did. Good evening, Vargian. Nice that you had a Trivax interview right going on. Hello, Paskapavo. How are you doing? Well, let's start with the first beer of the day, well, evening. Fest beer by Malla say about Oktoberfest beer. So basically very, very wrong timing given that we're now in March, not October, but it is what it is. I don't know what the hell is tasting in my glass, but it tastes weird. So anyway, I promised that I'm gonna do one giveaway today. And I'll do it either after the first beer or second beer. I don't know yet. Depends how much activity we get going on. And here's the thing. Here's the catch. If we got enough donations today, I'll do another giveaway. So let's make your donations count. Nice beer after a couple of hamburgers, which I just had right after the gym. Jonsered, glad to hear you got the package. Alright, what I'm actually doing here is a little bit of multitasking. I hope you don't mind me doing that because it's actually an interesting thing. Why it's interesting is that my other band, Annihilators, released third album this Tuesday. And what I'm doing here while talking to you guys is actually uploading the album on Bandcamp. I wanted to do prior to the stream, but simply said, due to errands, due to visiting my bandmate today, I dropped him his copies of the CD, which we really received on Tuesday. You know, I basically ran out of time, so I wanted to do this Bandcamp update before that, but here we are, me doing them while I'm streaming because I want to make it sure it's ready by tomorrow, right? Why tomorrow is because I actually made an unboxing one with a little bit of description what's going on with this given album. Well, my copy is already right there, so I'm not gonna show it you again. Makes no sense either because in the end, you know, the CD is pretty much explained. You know, obviously I cannot review my own band CD. That would be fucking weird and stupid. So I decided to just unbox it to you, show the cover, show the packaging, tell you a little bit of background of the music and all that stuff. And let me see, this should be okay. Yeah, I guess it's right there. So let's see what happens when I click publish the album thing. I don't know why it's not happening here. Okay, there's some some things. I don't know why this is now stuck. It seems everything is right there. Check, check, check. Okay, it should be right there. Let me see how it is. And yes, Exterminate is now online. I probably will add some description to it later on, but you're here to first to witness that. So here we have Annihilator's third album. I'll actually get it for you to see. And let me just shut the background second light here. So this baby just came fresh from the oven. It is Tuesday through Record Store X. Their official release date was yesterday. So now it's also on Bandcamp. YouTube will be added later on at some point. But yeah, it's right there for people to now listen to. You can just listen to it digitally right there. I actually probably need to set up some things like, let me see. Let me see what I wanted to fix there. Was actually how many times you can listen to it for free, because the default is as little as 3 times, I think, and I want to make it more. Let me see. Blah, blah, blah. Nothing here. It's been so long time since the last time I actually used Bandcamp that I don't even remember where it is. It's somewhere in the settings. And I should be able to change that setting. Now where the fuck it is? Can't really... Oh, here it is. Limit plays before requiring purchase paid back. Now it is actually 5. I'm gonna upgrade it to 10. So it was better than 3, which was something that I wanted to be. So anyway, and here is once again the full site for the thing. Now, thank you for your donation, Jonset Rocks. You already made me reach our goal. So not only we have 1 giveaway, we have 2. So we have Anoxia from Australia, and we have this White Rune from Finland, black metal and death metal. And damn, it's hot here. And I'm gonna do the first giveaway after the first beer, maybe a second giveaway after the second beer. Does that sound okay to you? Hello, Tatu. How are you doing? Night shift. That's gonna be something on Saturday night. Once again, if you want to make sure that I notice your comment, please tag me like this. I'm gonna give you another example. Tag Rauta Metal. Hello. So this is then highlighted when you tag the name. But I try to read all the comments and everything here. So Dead and Night is a slightly newer fan. No need to apologize if you are asking same questions that other people might have asked. That's totally fine. Do you have a job outside interviews and reviews? Yes, I do. I mean, I couldn't live on the very low income Rauta is giving. That means all the income I get from Rauta is invested in mandatory expenses. Sometimes I actually have to buy stamps for sending parcels, for instance. But the YouTube income is used for flights and hotels, so me and my cameraman can actually travel to festivals where we can do interviews. Of course, I don't have to spend money on reviews, but then again, the review views are quite low, so they don't really bring any cash in. So yes, this is just a hobby. I don't know if I can say that the band pays me more, really, because band doesn't really pay me anything, basically. But yeah, this is so low income that if I wanted to make actual money, I would probably have to do some kind of a OnlyFans thing. So yeah, the cash is not much. With this amount of money, nobody could live in Finland. So this is not my day job, just a hobby. And how do I balance? Well, day job pays my bills, take care of my daily life. This is what I do on my free time mostly. Sometimes I can do those short review videos during the work days because it doesn't take me more than 5 to 10 minutes to, shoot a video for review, because I can listen to it while I work. I can listen to when I drive my car or whatever. So once I have figured out what to say about the review album, then I just put the video on. And as you probably know, if you've seen any of my review videos, they're just one takes. I don't edit them like, okay, there I said something goofy, or I was like, what the fuck, I just take one take. I basically press on, then take the album, explain what's going on, show the Bandcamp, Metal Archive site, explain what I do like and don't like about the given album, show the covers, unpack it, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Takes about 10 minutes. And then I just quickly add the intro, and then, let the software take care of the final processing. Then I upload it. So basically doing a review, actual time when I have to do something like, write the links or write the description for a review video, whatever, and shoot it, probably 15 minutes. But of course, listening to an album, making mental notes, writing down some notes, takes a little bit more than that. And when I have longer videos which I make, like today I made this Annihilators video with the album I showed you, and I made one retrospective episode, that took me 40 minutes maybe, plus editing and all. So those I do, obviously in my free time. So yeah, this is just balancing things like every other hobby in life. So there's that. But yeah, hobbies are hobbies. They're not supposed to pay the bills. So, day job, one thing, bands and things like Rauta, another thing. Chaos Gold Fishing, if I read that correctly, that is. Great Imbel Nazarene interview. They're one of my all-time favorite bands. Thank you, Chaos Gold. I was really happy that I finally got it done. And today's first giveaway question is actually related to Imbel Nazarene, but it's not really focused on Imbel Nazarene. I will announce the question for first giveaway, the Anoxia album here, when I'm done with the beer. And for the second one I'm going to give away, I need to ponder. Now, something that I want you to consider, Rauta is going to be 25,000 subscribers soonish. Might take a couple of weeks, might take a month, I don't know. But we're very close to 25,000 now. That means then another giveaway will happen. And I don't know if there's much of a celebration. Maybe we will do celebration at the Inferno Festival in 1 month, because I'm planning to do a little bit extra coverage this year, because I have a friend who is helping me with that, taking care of the camera and all. So 2 things you might consider doing in case you want to support Rauta a little bit more. If you use Instagram, consider, subscribing to my Instagram account. I will also link it here, because I will be posting some pictures and short videos from the festival and other events, obviously. And I will also do a giveaway when we reach the next milestone, which means 6,000 subscribers. It's currently 5,800. So people who don't know, I'm going to mention this again. Every time we reach a new milestone, means like a round number, 6,000, 7,000, 8,000, every 1,000, there's going to be a giveaway. So my Instagram account is now 5,800 and then some. So once it reaches 6,000, I'm going to do giveaway on the Instagram side. When my YouTube channel, the one that you're actually watching right now, when this reaches 25,000, there's going to be a giveaway. And we are now 2,400, 800 something. Almost 2,400 and 900. So once 25,000 has been reached, there will be a giveaway among those who participate, and I will announce it once we have actually reached the numbers. The same thing obviously goes for Rauta's Facebook. So in case you use Facebook, also consider signing to Rauta's Facebook, which is here. But that already reached 9,000 just recently, and so there was a giveaway. So no, I actually forgot to do it. Fuck. I need to do a giveaway for that 9,000 too. So something that I forgot. Anyway, these are just some ideas, and if you want to support the channel, invite your friends and families who might be into following Rauta content, and then I will do this giveaway, and then you might be a lucky bastard and win an album. So, what else? Yeah, the White Rune album was actually quite good, and I got double copies, so that's why I can do one giveaway. Actually, all of these giveaway CDs are usually double copies. Like I got 2 Anoxia ones because I got one from the band directly, I think, and one from the label. They didn't communicate with one another. Same thing with this White Rune thing. The band sent me one and the label sent me one without knowing that. I mean, I don't need double copies for reviews and all that stuff, so I use them for giveaways. I have a small pile of them. So there's that. Okay, reading comments once again. All right, Jonser Rocks, don't worry about commenting. I'm just happy that you've enjoyed the interviews and all, so that is all good. And Tom was commenting that Rauta, the Impel Nazarene interview was on spot. Really enjoyed it yesterday. I'm very careful to say, not because of something controversial, but it's currently my favorite band. I get it. It's a good band for sure. Running about some 35 years. I'm really happy that I finally got it done. And that is the question related to the first giveaway, which I will mention as soon as the beer is gone. Did a Knight said here that thank you for sharing. It's fascinating the work you do. I had more time or balance. I would love to do something similar. Yeah, consider it if you have the possibility. Talking about music, writing about music, doing videos about music. I mean, it's great if you have the passion, then you will find the time. But this is not something you should consider doing for money, because there is very, very limited amount of money you can get from this. I mean, if you want to make money by YouTubing about music, consider it doing something else than black and death metal. Now Blaze is asking me kind of a silly question. I'll explain why it's silly. What is your top 5 or top 10 war metal albums? Now, there has been this long debate that what war metal is. Is it more about genre, or is it more about a more like a scene. And I think it's more of a scene. It's not really a uh, like a musical genre, because basically war metal is, kind of a glorified way of saying certain kind of black death metal thing. So I don't consider that there are actual albums coming from the war metal scene. I'm pretty much on the same page with, what Ryan from Death Worship said. It's more of a thing with, the Holocausto release rather than, a genre. And for me, war metal has never been, or that particular style of death black has never been too important. So I cannot really give you my top 5 list for that. You might as well ask me top 5 grind albums or power metal things, and I would say they are not really my favorites, so I cannot give you one. Oh, Yonzer Rocks, I get it that your thing, what you said, that your mom has a big problem with your music taste and interests. Now, you and me are both somewhat older, so at this point we don't really care what our moms or dads say about music. Now, my mom or her husband back in the days when I was still living with my parents, I don't think they really cared about my music taste. And of course, my music taste when I was still living with them was just pretty basic metal or hard rock. I mean, by the time I had found death metal and black metal, I was, living on my own. So it's not they even knew what I was listening to. But there was this time I was probably around 20 years old, maybe 22, something like that, maybe 23. And my mother was, giving me a ride back home or something like that once. And she asked, I think because her new husband's daughter, who was somewhat younger than me, but around adult, and I think she gave my mother this idea. So my mother would be asking, Jerry, are you Satanist or Satan worshipper? I don't remember what was the exact phrasing. I kind of chuckled and said like, Mom, you don't need to worry about that. I'm not sacrificing cats or eating babies or whatever. So, it's music. Obviously, that was not full truth, because obviously to me, black metal and even death metal is more than just music. But I mean, it was kind of a very truthful also, because if I would start explaining what I really think, like things like Satanist is, that would have been quite a bit of time. Now, you have to understand, and back in the 80s and 90s, what people would use out of word Satanist was probably a lot different than if you would now go online and start Googling for satanic things, Satanism, for about like philosophical way of life. Back then it was more like seen as some kind of a, I don't know, secret society related to commit violence and murders or whatever. So I basically denied the thing like, hey, Satanism, even though I kind of was that, and I kind of still am. But what I mean is, like, there are so many different interpretations what Satanism or what Satanists are. And, I don't have the time for that kind of a nitpicking things. So I rather, usually describe myself with something else than being certain kind of ist, Satanist, leftist, right-wingist, or whatever, So I'm more like, I don't really care. I'm a metalhead, and if there is one ist I'm all about, that would be nihilist. So I don't really have those cool values. I'm actually very much anti-value in so many ways, always questioning things. A lot of things, what I even say, what I think, what I, like to say and consider parts of my ideology. I like to, second guess them. I like to question them. Sometimes I say certain things and then I'm second guessing myself or questioning myself. Do I really should say that? Do I really mean that? Do I want to give that person this or that? it's very complicated for me to try to explain it even in English, because even in Finnish, it would be kind of a complex philosophical conversation, really. So I'm more like, I don't give a fuck what kind of label people want to give me. There are people who have been saying that I'm too liberal or I'm too, I don't know, left wing. Then there are people who consider me right wing, people who consider me Nazi, people who consider me this and that. And I'm like, hey, whatever, man. If you want to see me as a Nazi, it's okay. It's your end. If you want to see me like a spaghetti monster, that's fine too. If you want to see me as some kind of a soy boy, go ahead. I don't give a fuck, because my feelings are not hurt that easily. And secondly, I mean, why I should fucking care about what these other people who don't even know me want to call me? I'm like, hey, I can be everything. I can be the big bad wolf from the Red Hood. I can be a fucking R2-D2 from Star Wars if you want me to be. I can be the fucking Sauron. Or I can be a turtle if you want me to. Like, I can be your imaginary friend or your worst enemy if you want me to be, but does it actually mean anything? Like, call me names. I don't give a fuck. I just drink beer, lift weights, and listen to music. So yeah, I don't really care what my mom or other people say what I listen to. It's my thing, and if they don't like it, piss off. But, hello, J-Killers, and hey, Mr. Sire, and hey, Limbel Nazarene. I was just wearing this old Limbel Nazarene shirt. As you can see, this is a Mexico tour 1998. The funny thing is, when we played at Nordic Metal Cruise with Imbel Nazarene, they played on Saturday, we played on Sunday, but we had shared backstage room with our beers and snacks and, preparation. We had quite a cool, talks with the guys. Actually, the drummer, who has been in the band for a long time, for some reason, he remembered that some 20 years ago, maybe even more, I ordered some shirt from him. And he was like, didn't you order that Imbel Nazarene shirt from me like long time ago? And I was like, was it you? Like, yeah, I did. So it's weird. But all those Imbel Nazarene guys, they were really nice. But only two of them, as you already know, participated in the interview. But, we hung out after their show, before our show. We had some cool talks. We were talking about video gaming. We were talking about touring, doing gigs. We had beers. So, all good times. One of the perks that when you play in a band and do shows, I think everybody in a band knows this, but people who don't play in bands might not know. One of the perks, I think, is you get to know people from other bands because you spend time with them, be it drinking beer or coffee or whatever. Like, there was this one guy from Imbel Nazarene, not, one of the guys in the band, but, one of their crew. Really nice, a little bit older guy who has been there for decades. And he would just talk about this one beer he was having. And then he was like, hey, would you like to try it? I wasn't, begging for it to try, but, we started talking about craft beers and all. And he was like, hey, have a taste, So what I'm saying here is, I guess a lot of people know that, people in metal music mostly are not really rock and roll stars. They're pretty much down-to-earth guys, laid back. And they are there just for the same reason you are. To play music they love, what is their passion. They might have ideological takes, strong opinions and all that stuff. But we're basically on the same page anyway. So usually those talks at Backstage, they're cool. You get to hang out with like-minded people. Have your private room with them, have beers and talks and, it's good. Less noisy too. So that's why people get to know each other when they are in bands. So they might be, say, some band like Horna, they might be touring with some, Blasphemy or whatever. And then these become friends just because, hey, they feel like, hey, we're on the same page. We like like to share our thoughts and talks and all that stuff while hanging out. That's what happens, especially at festivals, when there are lots of different bands. I've seen it many times, even at Steelfest when I haven't been performing there, but because I'm part of the press as a Rauta, I get to see the people in backstage. You could say, like, hey, they're Horna guys, they're Satanic Warmaster guys, they're Misthudemin guys. Oh, they're the guys from Inquisition. Everybody's kind of a mingling and hanging around together. And usually some friends have friends you might not know, but then somebody, hey, do you know this guy? Hey, you should know this guy. And then you shake hands, you start talking, and you realize, hey, this is a cool guy too. That's one of the, I think, great things in about metal scenes, that whatever people see on stage, I mean, of course, when you go on stage, you kind of get into different mindset. At least happens to me, and I think it's pretty much everybody else. When you're on stage, you're in a very different mood. You're not there to make friends. You're not there to be with the audience like pest pals and high fives. At least I am not. I'm kind of very hateful on stage. I don't even like people when I'm stage, barely my own band. But when you go off the stage, the kind of a mood wears off. And then you just kind of get into a more relaxed state. Maybe you take a shower, or at least wipe the sweat off your face. And you kind of calm down. You grab a beer. And then you just sit back. And suddenly it's all back in the good mood kind of thing. And then you get the good mood out of the show usually. Adrenaline or whatever. So it's basically like working out in a way, much like Sluti in Imbel Nazarene interview said, like he would have his heart rate very high. So it's basically like exercising or sports performance, and you're like you're kind of like exercising your body on stage. You get to scream so that your blood is pumping all over your face and all that stuff, and then you're like really pumped up, and then you get back, you're like, the show is over, and then you kind of get into a more relaxed mood. Then you have those good talks. That's sometimes how friendships are made. And like after the interview, now when the interview went out, I actually sent Slutty a message like, hey, now it's out, it's in the public, the comments are running in, people have already watched this interview this and this many times, and he said, okay, cool to hear. We're actually coming to Italy. They're playing in Italy today. Maybe already played, but I don't know. It's Finnish midnight, so I don't know what time they played. But he was basically like, greetings from Italy. Here we are in Torino. Things like that happen. I get rambling, as you can see, but hey, it is what it is. Hello, Freedom Frog. Welcome to the stream. How are you doing, man? Hopefully you are recovering day by day better. Hello, Kake. Glad you liked the Imbel Nazarene interview. I'm very happy about it as well. Freedom Frog, that's nice. I hope your mother will be enjoying some Annihilators or Nightside. I know it's maybe not the older generation's music, but hey, you never know. Yeah, Tom is totally right that, like, when mentioned that parents actually think it's silly, and in a way they're right. I mean, totally, in a way, metal music is very fucking silly, because we are at the same time very serious about the very topics that no normal person can really understand. So, I mean, I get it, it's kind of silly, but at the same time, these older people, these normal people are very fucking silly when they watch their reality TV. And we're like, okay, you think our music is silly. What about the fucking Kardashians you're watching? Reading about the silly news about this and that on your mainstream music magazines. You could call us silly? So, yeah, fine, sure. And so it's cool that they kind of see our thing very silly, because this is our own territory and tribe. Like I mentioned in the Imbel Nazarene thing, that this kind of extreme metal community is kind of more like a tribal thing. Or was it Death Worship interview, actually? when I was talking about the tribal thing. I'm happy that there are lots of people who don't want to get in because they're not even fucking invited. This is our own club. And while there are no, membership cards, but I like that some people think that your tribe is too fucking weird and you're too weird bunch people. You have weird fucking skulls and dark thoughts and violent lyrics, and I'm like, yeah, sure. Like, if you can't stand this, just stay away. It's all fucking good, man. I'm not here to, really make friends or invite people over, but I know when I meet someone who is on the same page with me, like I mentioned this Backstage thing, then you don't really need to explain yourself. You're like, hey, I play this music and I do things about this music and write the lyrics and all that stuff. Normal people might not understand it, and it's totally fucking fine. Kake never lived in US or any other country where English would be like native language. So my accent is just something that kind of sticks to me. When I listen people talking, I kind of absorb it. So I have always kind of had, I could say, good ear for what people are talking. So if they're talking Spanish, I'm like absorbing it. And if I get to read and understand what they're saying, then I'm learning it. Now, obviously, learning Spanish is a little bit harder in places like Finland. But, the more you talk, the more you listen, that's kind of happens. So I mean, my accent might be good if you think about it from the perspective of someone who isn't native in English. But for Canadians, for Americans, for British, for Australians, they might think, your accent is a bit off. Like, it's weird. And sometimes people think that I'm from different countries than what I am. I mean, I am a Finnish person, obviously, but people might be making weird assumptions where I'm from based on my accent. But hey, it is what it is, and I can survive. Oh, Jonsen Rocks has a very, very good question. What upcoming shows, not festivals, are you looking forward to this year? I can't wait for Dödsrit / Lambo Murmur in May and Tåge in August. Swedish Gothenburg dates. Well, I kind of want to list all the festivals I'm looking for because they are the ones I know dates. But there are individual gigs. The funny thing is, I don't mostly even know the dates of those gigs because they're announced in so short amount of time. For example, just this week I heard Jungle Rot from United States is actually playing a show. I think it was in April in my home city, and I wanted to see Jungle Rot live, I don't know, for 20 years now. Then there was Spectral Wounds were announced that they would play a show in Finland, I think in August. That's probably the most far away show I know there is, except for Europe. Europe from Sweden, they're performing some big show, I think in November. I don't know if I can make it. There were some dates already on November, which means I'm going. But let's see, I want to see Europe. I never saw it as a kid when I was a Europe fan in a way. And then there was some random smaller gigs throughout the spring. The funny thing is I don't really remember the dates, but nothing big. Mostly, smaller bands like from Finland and all that stuff that are like going through, March, April, May, but I don't remember any single gig after May except for this Spectral Wounds thing. That was the only bigger one. I missed some of the bigger shows when I was in Spain for 2.5 weeks. Like there was this tour with, Mayhem, Marduk, Immolation happening when I was in Spain. There was Paradise Lost playing when I was in Spain. I was like, fuck it. Now, the good thing is I saw Mayhem 2 years ago. Well, more like 18 months ago, when they were celebrating their 40th anniversary. So no big deal. I saw Paradise Lost last August. So no big deal. I wanted to see them again, but, I've seen Marduk so many times. I don't care if I missed them this time. Immolation would have been cool because the last time I saw them was in 2019. So what I'm saying here, there are lots of these shows which I kind of want to see, but sometimes, things are overlapping. But apart from, festivals, which are in a way my main interest when it comes to seeing more shows, I don't really remember the dates. I don't even mostly remember the bands. So, good question, but unfortunately I don't have a good answer. For festivals, I know Turku Saatanalla is happening next week, and we're playing our 30th anniversary show with Nightside on Friday as headliner. And there are lots of bands on Turku Saatanalla on Saturday which I want to see, like, Bewitched. Never saw them live. Enthroned are coming back to Finland after so many years. I think it's gonna be cool to see Mork from Norway inside. Last time I saw them, it was outside during Summerfest, Midgårdsblot 2022. And Hell Militia, Lloyds. I want to see all those bands at Turku Saatanalla next weekend. So it's gonna be cool. Then Inferno is taking place in the first week of April in Oslo, Norway. And there are lots of bands, Mayhem just got out that new album, so I want to see Mayhem now, live. Enslaved, obviously. Whoredom Rife, Samael, Covenant, D-Side. Lots of bands at the Inferno Festival. And I will make another video about it. But yeah, lots of individual gigs at festivals. And then there, of course, Steelfest in May, where there are lots of cool bands I want to see. But yeah, it's mostly festivals I'm now looking for, because the individual gigs are pretty much like announced maybe 2 months before it's happening. Like, hey, hello, we're coming to your city. And I'm like, okay, nice. But sometimes it's hard to get onto those dates because of, because it might be overlapping, because they're not really announced that much early. Oh yeah, Greece was mentioned. I had this good trip to Athens last November where I made these interviews. I want to be back to Greece as well. And good to hear, Freedom Frog, that you're doing fine. Oh, Dead and Night has a good question. Based on that description, do you feel stage performance is therapy for letting out anger or something different? It's partially both. I mean, in a way, it is, well, I wouldn't call it therapy, but it is definitely kind of a letting the anger out. Then again, I also, do that in a way at the gym. But I mostly don't have really anger issues. But I mean, of course, every now and then, everybody gets angry. But yeah, in a way, performing music can be very therapeutical. So in a way, it is definitely getting the shit out of system in a way. But it's also, performing music or any kind of art, entertainment, doesn't matter which one it is, art or entertainment or both. I think it's very therapeutical by the very, default setting. Because the thing here is, when you are kind of channeling your thoughts and emotions, your passions into something like music, and then you perform it, it feels like vigorating, It feels like, in a way, you're putting your energy into that, and in a way you're losing energy because it's so consuming, but at the same time it's mentally like charging, if that makes sense, because you are giving something out, even if you're like, I don't even give a fuck about the audience, but you are essentially giving something out of yourself to the audience. Whether you like the audience or not, that's exactly happening. So there is this interaction between the audience and you as a performer. And then that's what I feel is, in a way, energizing. And that chemistry, that connection, what you have there with the audience, and channeling that music out of your system. Doesn't matter if you're playing an instrument. If you're a guitarist, you probably feel a little bit different as a drummer or as a vocalist than I am. But when I'm shouting out those words, and obviously I mean a lot of those words, what I say or sing. So yeah, I feel like it is in a way, therapeutic event, but it's also the performance that is in a way also something else than pure therapeutical thing, because performing something, it could be, I don't know, lifting weights or having a martial arts match. There is something that when you show, it's also about overcoming yourself, like victory over yourself. So I guess that could be described in a way as a show off. I don't mean kind of a boasting kind of a thing, but you're showing off what you get, what you have, and that alone feels kind of like empowering in a way, because, for example, a lot of performers, they get some degree of stage fright. They might feel nervous before they go on stage. I always feel a little bit nervous when I go on stage. The first moments when I go on stage, I kind of feel like I don't know if I can pull it off. People are staring at me, and that's especially the problem when you're a vocalist. If you're a drummer, you can go more on the background. I mean, probably you still feel somewhat that stage fright, but it's different. Like if I could hide myself behind a bass, if I was like, okay, I'm just doing my bass here, I could just stare at the fucking neck of my bass and I could just, I think it would be different, because I would feel nobody's taking a look at the bass player anyway. I'm joking here, but you know what I mean. But when you're a vocalist, it's more like all eyes on you. And if you fail, it's more like the whole band fails. So you kind of have to take the lead role in a way. You cannot hide behind anybody. You cannot hide behind an instrument. And usually when bands do live speeches, they say something between the songs. It's usually the vocalist. Now, for me, the good thing is I'm a very vocal person. And as you know, I like to speak a lot. Otherwise, I wouldn't make these videos. I certainly wouldn't make these streams if I wasn't able to speak as much as I can. So I don't have to rehearse, for example, what I say between the songs. I can pretty much improvise based on what I know what the lyrics are dealing with. So for me, that part is not challenging at all. But the first moment when you enter the stage, before the show starts, before the song starts, there's this short moment of silence. Everybody's kind of like waiting, what the fuck is happening? And it's up to you as a band, not an individual, as a band, that you are supposed to deal that music to your audience. You're supposed to channel it. And as an individual, everybody has to play their parts. As a vocalist, because usually songs don't start instantaneously, with the vocal parts. You are kind of like there, okay, I'm here with the microphone, and I'm not really doing anything. But you cannot really hide before a microphone. So the first moments on stage are really like, what the fuck I am doing here? You're kind of a second guessing, am I feeling comfortable here? Probably not feeling comfortable until the first or even second song kind of kicks off. And then you kind of start winning the moment. And then the stage fright at some point is gone. So it is a weird fucking emotion or setting in a way when you're on stage and you're supposed to go there with confidence. I have the confidence, but I still feel like I'm a little bit in a wrong place. I'd rather be in the audience, putting my arms crossed and like, okay, show me what you got. Like, so I can be the fucking scene sheriff. I can be this fucking scene police, and I can be very judgmental on my face. Like, are you gonna play some good music or are you gonna fail? So that would be my comfort zone. I'm out of my comfort zone when I'm on stage. But eventually I like it. But the first moments are fuck. So that's how it is. A long answer to a simple question. Soon we gotta do the giveaway because my beer glass is almost empty. I'm gonna answer the questions by. Oh, first of all, sorry Freedom Frog. Thank you for your donation. Thank you so much. And oh, you already went sniff. But anyway, thank you for your donation if you're still here, and if not, well, too bad. I'm gonna answer Johnson Rock's question. Then I'm gonna finish the beer and give you the giveaway question. Johnson Rock asked, do you at all enjoy rap music? Yes, sometimes. And he continued, I just bought Tougher Than Leather with Run DMC, one of my favorite albums of all time, a big part of my teenage years, but never owned it. Well, yeah, actually, funny that you asked. I was in 8th grade, and there I had this momentum between 7th and 8th grade. I had kind of abandoned my childhood metal bands. You could now say I was in this crisis, teenager crisis. I had abandoned my love and interest for metal music and rock music, hard rock, and I was, exploring other musical styles. For the shame, I'm not really ashamed of it, but feels kind of weird now. Around 7th grade, I was listening to whatever my friends were listening to. I was exploring, things like Euro dance or what the fuck was going on. Never became a fan of that shit, but like I said, I was exploring. Now, on 8th grade, I found this badass music style. And that is now, you can guess, rap music. And not just any kind of rap music. We're talking about gangster rap. We're talking about things like Public Enemy, Ice Cube, NWA. All that badass, rap stuff. They were serious. They had badass lyrics. Especially, like the kind of a straight out to Compton stuff, like Fuck the Police and all that stuff. And I was like, wow, I was blown away. There was this classmate of mine, same age, maybe a year younger than me. He sparked my interest because he was into that rap music, much like a metalhead would have been into metal music. And he was like, okay, I'm gonna dub you a tape. I'm gonna make you a collection. I don't even remember all those bands or artists anymore, but he made me this mixtape. Like one song by each artist, like one Public Enemy song, one Ice Cube, one Ice-T, one NWA or whatever. And I would spin the tape, and I felt like this badass thing, which later on I figured is basically exactly the same what I loved about thrash metal, death metal, and black metal. These were serious guys, not just having fun, but serious attitude, serious lyrics, and I was fuck yeah. Now by 9th grade, I had already made my way back to metal music, especially that's when I was listening to Metallica like crazy person. So my exploration in rap music was very short in a way, lasted for that year or so. I don't remember details, but I remember that kind of put the seed in my head that I need to go back to this stuff. Sometimes I have gone back to rap music here and there, but very, very sporadic. So yeah, there is still this thing for certain kind of rap music, but it has to be this kind of a badass thing. I cannot stand this kind of a lame, like, show me your body, baby, kind of a lame hip hop shit. When it's about singing about babes or money or whatever, that's kind of a 50 Cent shit. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. I'm not into, those golden fucking bracelets and all that gling, gling, bling, bling. But when it's about this NWA and, Ice Cube shit, then I'm like, fuck yeah, you know, there has to be this kind of attitude. So that was the defining thing. Ranger Rock was asking, will I upload the Nightshade show to YouTube? Well, I don't have Nightshade footage, live footage, so I don't know yet, but I don't know. And one last question before the giveaway is by Kake. Very good question. What's your favorite Star Wars movie? Nowadays, it would be Empire Strikes Back. When I was younger, I always felt like the Return of the Jedi would be the best, because that kind of finished the whole story. That was the ending. So it was like no-brainer to me. Like, duh, obviously that is the best movie. Now, as I'm older, I can, in a way, I kind of want to say the first movie is the best, because that can, you know, live on its own without being dependent on Empire Strikes Back or the Return of the Jedi, or vice versa. But as a movie, I would say Empire Strikes Back is the best Star Wars movie, because it introduced us a lot of cool things like Boba Fett, Lando Calrissian, and the dynamics about Luke and Leia. You know, and that, you know, those iconic moments when Darth Vader just chops off the hand of Luke. So yeah, Empire Strikes Back. Oh yeah, nice that Sacred Right is coming to your town, Bargain. Sacred Right was never a big deal to me, but they had some kind of a good tunes, especially Surf Nicaragua. All right, guys, girls, this is it. Bye, good night. No, I'm kidding. Okay, now gives the giveaway question. Whoever answers first the right answer, obviously, wins the first giveaway CD of tonight. Now, prepare your keyboards and fingers. Now, Rauta has had the fortunate possibility to interview 4 original Finnish black metal bands. I'm talking about bands that actually made more than a couple of albums, but were there early on. Now, Imbel Nazarene is the final piece of that puzzle of these 4 bands. Can you name the 4 bands I have interviewed of early birds of Finnish black metal scene? 4 bands, including Imbel Nazarene. Type all the bands in your same answer. The first one to get them all 4 right gets the CD. And now I'm gonna fetch a new beer. See you in a bit. Now, Vargian was so fucking fast that he clearly beat the game. Now, he won. He got the right answer right out of the bat. And of course, my reign just came slightly late. The third answer is wrong by a mile, because first of all, Satanic Warmaster is almost 10 years later to the party. Goat Moon is not even from the 90s, so unfortunately that's wrong. But yes, Vargian won, so please send me your address. Send it to this address. I need to ask you some harder questions, because these seem to be so easy. Blood Jellies doesn't count. It's way too new band. Hold on, I've got to give a message. Hold on. So the second beer tonight is Malasebat's Mootini. Fruited sour. This is by espresso, vanilla, passion fruit, milk sugar and mixed fermentation. New Mootini refers to this local, quite nice cocktail bar, which also have some good beers, called Takao. And here it is mentioned. 2 cocktails, 1 sour beer. As you can see, in collaboration with the legendary cocktail bar Takao, we blended the bold coffee kick of an espresso martini with the fruity tang of pornstar martini. Expect rich coffee and vanilla layered with passion fruit and a tart tropical twist. It's smooth, sharp and cheeky, just like your favorite cocktails. It's a nice bar, so if you ever come to Finland, Turku, Finland, I recommend you to visit Cow Bar. I've been there many times. It's more like older people bar, so not really for teenagers and the like. And Jonsered Rock is once again rolling here and donating more stuff, which means we're gonna do 3rd giveaway today as well. He's funding it, so why the fuck not? But now, here we have, it feels like something came a little bit later to the beer. As you can see, this is kind of a, looks like a mixed thing. I hope it's still alright, not gone bad. Looks like some weird ass cocktail. Smells nice. You're very yummy. Very yummy. You can taste the coffee there, but also with a lot of fruitiness. Really good sour. And Vargian, yes, congratulations. I will now mark this CD down. Where are my stickers? I need to have them stickers so I can, mark this baby down. I have so much stuff here. Fuck. So much stuff here and now something is falling down. Yep. I probably need to clean the fucking table at some point. Well, I don't know where my sticky thingies are. There's already one giveaway CD which I need to take to Turku Saatanalle. I have no fucking idea where this so fucking sticky pieces of paper are. So I'm gonna just write down on a piece of paper Vargian. This means that this is going to Vargian. This particular CD, I'm gonna do a slight cut right there so I can put this piece of paper nicely. All right, back to your questions, back to drinking beer. All right. So good beer. It's almost like I'm having beers with friends when I'm drinking beer. So let's take another giveaway CD after White Rune. It's gonna be Finnish black metal by Rietas. something that I also got 2 copies, one from the label, one from the band. So 2 more giveaways happening today. I just need to be extra careful with the questions so I don't make them too easy. Bog was asking, have I ever listened to Negura Bunget? I have. The Romanian black metal legendary band. I have actually reviewed some material by them. But discography run won't happen with that band just yet. Because what I'm really doing is discography retrospectives with the bands I have interviewed first. And at the moment, I'm checking out on my list. If I take a look at my interview list, I am still in year 2017. So I'm like 9 years behind my schedule. I just finished doing Sabaton retrospective. I know a lot of you people are like, what the fuck, Jerry, why do you do that? And the reason is quite simple, because I interviewed Sabaton in 2017. And the next one is Wallenfire, also from 2017, because I interviewed their drummer back then. And I think this will be the last from 2017. So the next stop would be the bands from 2018. I don't know, whatever it is. Paradise Lost is already in the making. I just need to read the lyrics, and that takes time. But yeah, we'll see about that. But eventually I might do some other bands as well. But first, the ones I have interviewed. Locke Forest, welcome to the stream. Glad you liked the thumbnail. And Dead Knight, hope you liked, glad that you liked the answer. The Uncertain Rocks, I don't know if that Turku Saatanalle gig will be videoed, but I hope it will be. Yeah, and I'm sorry, my rain, that Vargian was a little bit faster with the answer. And no, Clandestine Blaze is around 1998. So Archgoat and Beherit around 1989 or 1990. Imbel Nazarene around 1990. And Baratrum was something like 91, 92. So those are really the early birds, the cornerstones of Finnish black metal. And the funny thing is, they are roughly from the same era as the first Norwegian black metal band, with the Mayhem being an exception, because Mayhem already, of course, existed, in mid-80s. But if you really think about it, Beherit is basically older band than, say, Burzum. It's as funny as it is. So even though a lot of people always say there are these people who's like Norwegians invented black metal, but you could say that bands like Archgoat and Beherit basically were founded before some of the most known Norwegian bands. Now, of course, the difference when the albums came out is a little bit different, but there's that. All right, and thank you also, Tom, for your donation. Thank you so much. Gotta go to college. Has been fun to rock on, Rauta and friends. Thank you so much for your donation. And thank you, Vargian, for your donation as well. You people have been very, very kind. Now, the good thing is, the more money comes to Rauta's bank account, which is separated my personal one, means the more we get to travel. And I will soon explain, as I have answered your questions, I will soon actually let you know the traveling plan for coming months, which means then you can roughly know what to expect in terms of interviews and all. Obviously, the more farther away we go, the less information I know or have about the interviews happening. But I have plans. I have some announcements which I can make because I always want to reward you people on the stream. You are the first to know about certain things. So I will explain that. But first I will quickly read the comments and questions, and then I will start explaining what's going on. Hello, Tia. You're not exactly late, except you missed the first giveaway. But then again, you won the last giveaway, so I guess it doesn't hurt. What were you gaming, Tia? Since you were gaming also, I wanted to game today, but hadn't had the time today. SH is asking me thoughts on Black Magic SS. I have heard the band very little, and so far it feels like it's not my thing really. But I mean, I do love Depeche Mode. Do I want Depeche Mode and black metal mixed? Maybe not so much. Lokeforce is asking which band at Steelfest I am looking most forward to. To be honest, I don't know. This year's Steelfest is very steady and solid, but there are no like real big headliners for my personal taste. And as such, I am not really sure what I'm looking for most. In a way, I am very intrigued if I can see Holocausto show. I have some problems attending Steelfest for 2 first days this year. I cannot be there full days for Thursday and Friday, so I'm gonna miss some of the bands, but it is what it is. I cannot help it. It's because of double booking really. But the good thing is for me, there are not so many mandatory bands this year, but that doesn't mean that the lineup would be bad. It's more like I've just seen a lot of those bands. But yeah, I don't know at the moment which I'm most stoked about when it comes to Steelfest. All right, Vargian, I'm happy that you will see Beherit in Athens. I saw Beherit for the first time actually last Turku Saatanalle a year ago, and it was very interesting experience. So yeah. Gurli, if I read that right. Children of Bodom was playing gigs along special homage. What's your thoughts about it? Now, never been exactly a Children of Bodom fan, but I know those special gigs mean a lot to people, and what I was reading about the comments now that they have Lost Society main guy stepping in for Aleksi Laiho, everybody was pretty much praising that he was the right choice for the given band. And for what it's worth, I think it's very nice that people who love a band like Children of Bodom have the chance to see them live, even if it's without Aleksi Laiho. I mean, in terms of Aleksi Laiho and Children of Bodom, he's basically what, Chuck Schuldiner was to Death. And of course, Death without Chuck Schuldiner wouldn't feel the right thing. But then again, if you can replace, everybody else is like original member or longtime member of the band, I mean, you can pull it off. So I'm not going to complain about it, because with tragic things like death, taking, death as people dying, not the death as band. I mean, it is important that the rest of the guys keep going on. I'll give you another example. Just earlier this week, I was reviewing the new Karelian Warcry album. And when I was reading the press release with the given album that I received, I hadn't even realized that their guitarist / vocalist died in 2014, just 2 years after they were preparing for their third album. And the third album never came out until right now, because the band was basically, ready to split up after they lost their vocalist / guitarist. And I'm happy that they didn't split up. It's not like the band is the best coming from Finland, but I mean, they didn't give up just because they lost an important member of the band. And I think that's how people should do. Basically like, how Queen was singing, show must go on. So I mean, of course, the Children of Bodom was put to rest after Aleksi Laiho's unfortunate death. But I also think that if the rest of the guys want to keep the legacy going on, there's nothing wrong with that. There are other similar things like, for example, Firespawn, in my opinion, one of the best death metal bands ever from Sweden. They're playing at Inferno, and what makes Firespawn related to this conversation is that LG Petro from Entombed was the vocalist for Firespawn. Now, obviously, I never got the chance to see Firespawn with Petro, but I'm really fucking happy that they are still going on with the band despite his death. So I think Children of Bodom did the right thing to continue even though Aleksi Laiho has been long dead, because the music still lives even without Aleksi Laiho. And yeah, Jönsson Rocks, the ACDC slash Axl Rose thing is another thing. Also, Twisted Sister is now continuing without Dee Snider. Dee Snider gave his blessing that Sebastian Bach from Skid Row is, taking over because Dee Snider is unable to do it due to health issues. Now, I think that's a cool move on Dee Snider's part. Like, instead of saying, like, you cannot perform without me, he's not, letting his ego cancel the shows. He's more like, let this man ride the dragon and make you the gigs happen. Besides, Sebastian Bach is fantastic vocalist, or at least was. So I would definitely love to see Twisted Sister with Sebastian Bach, since Dee Snider isn't available. Luckily, I've seen a little bit of Twisted Sister at Wacken with Dee Snider, though I was totally fucking drunk, but that's another story. Oh, congratulations to Havukruunu. Their latest album is actually still in my review pile. But happy that they got rewarded. Jönsson Rocks was writing, when it comes to black metal, what is your favorite language for lyrics? I really like the Finnish language, which I think sounds really harsh and evil, that I do not understand most of it. Well, that's a hard question, because I kind of want to say it's not about the language, it's about the given band. Now, obviously, because I grew up with Norwegian and Swedish black metal before I heard Finnish black metal, I always kind of feel that this harsh ways Norwegian and Swedish bands, how they pronounce certain things, it's very badass. But of course, from the reading the lyrics point of view, I always want to feel it's English that is the best, because then you can read the lyrics, you can hear what the band is saying. As a Finnish person, I guess I'm a little bit biased when it comes to consider Finnish language the best. Sometimes Finnish language does fine job at black metal lyrics, but sometimes it can be kind of a force-fed poetic, like in the case of Horna. But lots of languages really fit well with black metal, so I don't think there is one language that is better than the other. Let's just say some languages are worse for black metal, I guess. But then again, it really depends on the given band and the vocalist. Theo, alright, you went really nice. 1994 Settlers. I remember the game series, obviously, but I didn't think that you would play such old games. Very nice. So, really cool. Yeah, Hellconjurer is interesting live because it's only one man doing the show. Well, the at the gates thing is a big question mark. I hope they don't give up because as much as I love Tompa as vocalist, I mean Slaughter of the Soul is one of those albums which have perfect vocal performance. Tompa Lindberg's vocals were always really harsh, powerful, violent, and Slaughter of the Soul is one of those 10 out of 10 albums for me. But I don't know, but I think Tompa is the kind of person who would want the band to go on. I don't know what he said to the rest of the guys when he kind of knew that he was not gonna make it. So I guess we'll have to wait and see. But I think at the gates should keep going on. Was with Paul Stanley? Well, that would be a weird one. Gurli, I haven't heard the new Nervosa or Immolation albums, so maybe I will eventually listen to them, but now I'm strictly focusing my time with physical review copies, and when I'm not doing review copies, I'm actually preparing for Inferno Festival, so I'm not really listening anything outside reviews except the stuff that I'm gonna witness at festivals. Doc Letter is asking, can you understand or speak any Swedish yourself? What can I say? It's something like, I don't want to embarrass myself or Jonsered for that matter, but I guess I could say lilla, not mycket. So I guess I should say nej, but I can read a little bit of Swedish. I can say something very basic things, but I probably speak at this point more Spanish than Swedish. So yes, we have to learn Swedish in elementary school. But I had this bad attitude problem and I really didn't want to learn Swedish. That was my lowest score when I get out of the elementary school. So I can say things like nej tack or something like that. I understand various words like kyrka, which means church, and all that stuff, but nej, I guess I should say if someone is asking me like, kan du tala svenska? And I'm like, nej, ingenting. Something like that. But if I see some Swedish text and I'm not in a hurry to read it, I can probably figure out some basic sentences. Vargan, it's sielun vihollinen. Sielun vihollinen. I know it's a complicated name because it's so long. Tatuawin is asking what kind of workout routine you have at the moment. Well, I'm doing Juggernaut program. Now I'm back after 4 weeks of training pause. So I have a squat day on Monday or Tuesday, followed by bench press day, whatever there's the next day. Usually I go for, if I go for Monday for squats, Tuesday for bench press, probably Wednesday off, if I can, Thursday for deadlifts, and Friday or Saturday for overhead press. And of course, all these different days have their accessory moves. Like on squat days, there are probably some hip thrusts or jerker squats or, some upper thigh movements, quad movements, whatever. For bench press, you have triceps, maybe biceps, some for pectorals. for upper back and so forth. God damn it, I can barely read this font, but Sosnjur is asking, how many languages can you speak or understand? Well, fluently, Finnish and English. I can read and speak un poco Espanol, but I really can't have a proper conversation in Spanish. But let's say that if I go to a grocery store, I think I can survive in Spanish. I can say basic greetings, learn some things on the menu or whatever, but I wouldn't really say I can speak Spanish. If the sentences are simple, I can read some basic Spanish things, but still poco. Jonas Ness is asking, do you listen to any power electronics? Not if I can avoid it. I mean, it's live, it's fine. On albums, not that much. Okay, nice that you have played a show with Grunt. I've seen Grunt live and it was powerful. Yes, actually, that's very nicely spotted after Mon. I had this Winter Eternal shirt. The band was kind enough to send me 2 Winter Eternal shirts with their latest review CD, which came out recently. The first one I already had earlier this week. Now it's in the washing machine. And I decided to wear this proudly on the stream because, first of all, I'm very thankful for this shirt. And then again, it also looks nice. So this is my way to say thank you that there is a Winter Eternal shirt. Well, Dark Letter, when we make jokes about Swedish, it's because, well, Swedish cursing is kind of a very lame. So, Swedes are like a little gay boys when we think about Finnish. Finnish are like, perkele, saatana, vittu. And Swedish people are like, fy fan också. Jag tycker inte om du svart metall. And we're like, fuck you. Perkele, let's wrestle to death. You know, we drink kalja. Swedes are like, öl. You know, there's this rivalry between Swedish and Finnish, and it never goes as serious as when it comes to ice hockey. You have to understand that Finland was under Swedish reign for a long time, so we kind of feel that Swedes are, in a way, our enemy. I mean, think it like, how to put it? Finland is like Hong Kong, and in a way, and we never wanted to be part of England in that kind of a setting, if that makes sense. We wanted our own independence, and once the Swedes are out of Finland, it's almost like the Englishmen are out of Hong Kong, if that makes sense. Ungurlis from Brazil. Okay, interesting. I thought you might be Swedish since you were asking about it. Your English is just fine, so it is okay. Can you give me some worth learning technique for me to grab more properly my studying time? What you want to learn? I mean, I'm not sure what you're really asking, but tell me and I'll help you if I can. And my Rain is asking interesting question. Does Estonian sound weird to Finns? Yes, some words really sound weird because they're very close to Finnish language. There are words that can actually mean different things in Estonian and Finnish, but sound the same. So sometimes that creates comedy. But, you know, some Estonian words just sound like a different language. So it really depends. But sometimes Estonian language is definitely like poor Finnish. And this is not like I want to, offend Estonian. I'm just saying how it really sounds. It sounds sometimes like some people are trying to speak Finnish and they can't. And they have very different kind of intonation. Estonian is more like this is like how I speak Finnish language, English language. This is like more like this. What if we feel like Finnish is more like this, if you know what I mean? Finnish very simple, barbaric, and we don't have much variation in our tone. For example, if I was to emulate how we feel like certain southern Swedish people, how they say is more like how to put it. Yeah, we are from Sweden. Yes, very, very nice. Yes, but there are moments when you just go up and low and all that stuff. So it's like a roller coaster kind of a thing, if that makes sense. So we feel like Swedish is like this weird, crazy, uplifting, happy thing on drugs, whereas Finnish is kind of a monotone. If that makes sense. But I'm not gonna say this is utterly correct. This is more like me just kind of exaggerating quite a bit. Oh, Omgurli, okay, I get it. I know allergens, obviously. But Jon here he is from Sweden, so probably he can help you more with the Swedish language. Oh, Vargan, that's great. Yeah, I know Winter Eternal is originally from Greece, but living in uh, Scotland for many years, and he has been sending me these CDs for many years. He, in a way, supports Rauta in that way. Seems like a nice guy, but I never met him. And I, of course, want to see the band live as well. And I suggested that when I'm going to November, to Scotland, that is, that we should definitely have beers if possible. Yeah. Johnson Rock was mentioning if you would kindly name 3 black metal bands that you think we do not know about. Fifon. 3 black metal bands that you think we do not know about. What should I say? You don't know about Annihilatus, which I mentioned. What else? Do you know Lord of Pagathorn, which is, in my opinion, one of the better Finnish black metal bands, though not very known. What else? There's some bands running in my head which I kind of can't put my finger on. Well, I gotta think about some more bands. And yeah, Umgurli, I totally get it too. What do you mean by saving the words in your head or mind? And yeah, I agree with Tia about to learn a language is like listen to the language and read magazines. For example, when I was, starting to learn a little bit basics of Spanish, and then I was watching like Narcos series, and they were speaking Spanish. I would learn. Hey, I know what at least some words what they're saying. So it felt like it was helping. What age I was when I drink alcohol for the first time? maybe 16. I wasn't very, very young. Maybe good. But I think I was 16 when I had, alcohol for the first time. I mean, for the first time I had some sips of beer when I was like 3 or 4. But that was very, very small amount. So I think 16. And I agree with Tia that when you have an interesting media like game, movie, TV series, book, podcast, whatever, it's easier because then you have the motivation rather than going by books or whatever. Okay, anyway, so I wanted to talk to you about some upcoming interviews. Now, Turku Saatanalla is only a week away, so that one is pretty much now already agreed when it comes to interviews. I managed to agree interviews with Bewitched from Sweden, playing their black thrash, and Bewitched actually has some members who also play in Nagelfar, so I hope we can make that happen. Then there's Hell Militia from France, which I'm also happy to do. And then finally a new Enthroned interview. Now, Enthroned was one of the very first ones I got to interview in 2017 when Rauta was literally nobody. Like, nobody had no idea what we were doing. And yet, much like with Carpathian Forest, Enthroned was doing an interview with me. And I was, of course, very thankful to the vocalist guy for that. And now it's time to do a deeper one with Enthroned. So those 3 are the ones I have agreed. I don't want to do too many at Turku Saatanalla because we have our own gig to do. So only 1 interview for Friday and 2 for Saturday is the plan. Now, since Turku Saatanalla is kind of taken care of in terms of interviews, and I hope that those interviews will happen, I've also asked if guys from Norhem and Chamberlain would eventually want to do interview with me. Norhem are still thinking about it, but possibly doing it. And the Chamberlain said yes, but not at Turku Saatanalla, because I'm kind of too busy already. Now come Inferno in 4 weeks, now less than 4 weeks. And sorry for yawning, getting a little bit tired here. I actually sent my list to the PR guy, what I want to do, and it was quite extensive list. I don't think all of these bands will happen, but let's see. So I had, for Thursday at Inferno, I had Incantation from United States, Hulder from United States, and Carnivore AD from United States for interview. Now, all of these are, of course, interesting for different reasons. Incantations, because they're so old school death metal band, and even though I'm not really a fan, but they are one of those old school names. Hulder is interesting because it's those one-person female black metal acts, and the music is pretty good too. So I want to make that happen if possible. And I noticed at some point Hulder even reacted to some Rauta stuff, so maybe she knows it. Carnivore 80 for the reasons that Carnivore existed before Typo Negative. And Carnivore 80 is very obviously without Peter Steele, rest in peace. And they're now releasing also new stuff. So it will be interesting to see how they perform and make that interview happen. Now for Friday, I have picked 4 bands. And I cannot really do 4 bands, but I'm assuming some of the bands will say no anyway. So there's Groza from Germany, which I guess a lot of people say, yeah, it's the Mgwa copycat. That's good reason enough to do the interview, to let them speak, because they've been so many times accused of being worthless Mgwa copycat band. Musically, they are pretty good in my opinion, but yeah. And then there's this Der Weg einer Freiheit from Germany. Sometimes labeled as Antifa or left-wing black metal band. I don't know if it matters to someone. To me, it doesn't. But it's been quite a long time in the scene, and yeah, I feel like this is one of the rare chances for me to talk to them. I don't really see them very likely band to perform in Finland, so I hope they will say yes. Then there is The Covenant, which means ex-Covenant, and obviously their career is kind of divided, with the early two albums more kind of a symphonic black metal, The Wane of Early Emperor and all, and their later era, which is more electronic stuff. Nagash itself from the band is a very interesting person and vocal about things related to black metal, strong opinions and all, so I hope he will say yes. And it will be, of course, interesting because it's kind of this old school black metal band from Norway. And while they never became really big, I mean, they do have their own story to tell. So I'm very eager to hear that if that's given the possibility. And then Mayhem, because, well, it's been almost 6 years. Almost 7 years when I did Mayhem interview in 2019 when they performed here in Finland. So I think it's a due time for a new session if possible, especially now that they have the new album out and the lineups have changed and all that stuff. For Saturday, Kanonenfieber from Germany. Now musically, I'm not a fan of their music. I think it's kind of a mid black metal thing, but that's all the more reason to pick their brain if given the possibility. I want to know what made them so big and why they have so much fear of Nazis and all that stuff, because that's one of the bands that do have that. And of course, why they do music about World War One, being a black metal band and all that stuff. So, and they are a relatively big band given the history with only 2 albums. Then there is, of course, Samael from Switzerland. I guess the second oldest black metal import from Switzerland of all time, with the oldest one obviously being Celtic Frost. And there are no too many chances to see Samael on stage in Finland, especially since they never played at Steelfest even though they were supposed to. And finally, Sadistic Intent, if possible, because these Americans, they play good death metal and they do have a long history as well. For Sunday, Old Man's Child, which wasn't happening in Bergen last year. I got to introduce to the man right there. And there was just talk that this interview at the Helsinki Metal Festival might happen. But the timing was too complicated. The schedule didn't match. So their representative told me that we should do it later, and I think Inferno is the right place to do that. Then, of course, D-Side, which I've tried to interview a couple of times. Let's hope third time the charm. And finally, the Firespawn band, which I mentioned earlier, because being one of the better Swedish death metal bands. So, quite a few names. I'm aiming basically for 2 bands a day, as you know, the usual deal. But we'll see how it goes. And then when I have agreed to Inferno bands, or more like they have responded to me, well, then there is time to check out for Steelfest lineup for possibilities. It's quite interesting stuff. Now, after Steelfest, there will be a break because the next festival after Steelfest for me is likely late July, early August. That is Beyond the Gates, because I was going through with my cameraman a list of festivals, and basically nothing really cool is happening in June or July. It's almost like disappointing. The only really cool festival happening in June for me was Mystic in Poland, but unfortunately I cannot make the dates, so there's that. For the rest of the June and July, it feels quite empty in terms of many bigger ones, which are for my interest and all that stuff. So there is that. So quite an interesting list of bands coming, and let's hope things will happen. Oh, but again, that's a early thing if you start drinking at the age of 13. Do I mosh at death metal shows? I don't really mosh these days. I mean, I have nothing against it, but I just don't really do that. And Snamur was saying the interview with Impel Nazarene is great. Thank you so much for that. I'm really happy about it. All right, Jonas Rocks, I'm glad you have heard of those bands. And too bad you have to go, but thanks for being here with me. Hope that you and me will meet at some festival eventually. And yes, bewitch the rules. What about Goat Moon? Will there be an interview to Absurd or Luror? Well, make a wild guess how these interviews would happen. I mean, it's not like they're playing live. So if you can find a way to interview these bands, please let me know. What are we drinking tonight? The first beer was Fest beer, which is Oktoberfest beer. And what I now have is Mutini Fruited Sour beer. Really good, by the way. And as promised, once I'm done with this beer, there will be the second giveaway for tonight. And now I'm thinking, what should I ask? I haven't really prepared that many questions. Yeah, the Goat Moon question is a meme at this point. It has been a meme since 2018. And yeah, if you can make Goat Moon interview happen, yeah, I will definitely do it. But like I mentioned, in 2021, Black Goat said, yeah, I changed my mind. I don't want to do a Goat Moon interview. Who knows if he will change his mind again. All right, what should we ask? All right, since it's about White Rune, what is the more known band by either of the brothers playing in White Rune? What is the most known band? There are two answers I can accept as the winner. Now, this band is made of two brothers, but one of them plays in other bands as well. I mean, bigger bands. Which bands are we talking about for White Rune? Well, that was but you're out. You're out. You already won. But since this is better question also, my reign as the right one, Baratrup or Sieluvihollinen. So, my reign, write to me at this address for your CD. So, once again, all right, here we have my reign giveaway CD. Yeah, Vargian is on roll today, definitely. I should probably start asking. Let's do a small cut here. And let's slide this my reign piece of paper here. Check. 2 CDs already given away. He was in Norham as a session member, as far as I know anyway. So not really a permanent member, but I don't know. I've seen him in a promo picture of Sieluvihollinen, but what I understood was more like a temporary thing anyway. So we have one more beer left, one more giveaway CD. And this one also is Finnish black metal. So, another beer, but need to wash my glass before this. Let's have a 2 minutes break. Ching ching, a new beer, a new man. Yes, Vargan, it's very good that you're flexing your knowledge. Nothing wrong with that. Rauta here really respects people who do know things about things. Vargan, I usually just send the giveaway packages as normal CDs, you know, the just normal, what do you have? Those soft envelopes. Why so? Raben Wood is asking album reviews from Goat Moon. Well, if there are physical copies coming this way, there will be reviews. But so far, the only Goat Moon review copies I've gotten is Goat Moon Live and that Alien Terminator EP. You're asking, how do you participate in the giveaways? While answering the questions, obviously. And yes, Myrain, just send me the email whenever you're ready. I'm not in a hurry sending it to you, but the sooner you or Vargian send me the information about the address and all, the sooner I can post them. I can mail them. Like I have one CD here for Tia, but I will give it to Tia at Turku Saatanalle. Alright, and now we are, 1 hour 53 minutes in. Here it is. The last beer of the night by Malla Sebedis Drama Queen. That's me, baby! It's a candy sour with raspberry, blueberry, licorice, and vanilla. Oh no! Yeah, I'm such a drama queen. I was trying to figure out an interesting question for you while grabbing the final beer, but nah, I don't know yet. God damn, this is good. Arbara is asking, do I keep track of your collection with Discogs or something similar? I tried to add all my albums to Discogs, but I started feeling it's kind of irritating because, well, Discogs have so detailed different versions for different, releases that it was like just too much work. Nowadays, I keep track with Radio Music instead of Discogs. It's accurate enough. I can just click, I have this and that on CD or vinyl or whatever. Vargian, I'm using Finnish Posti. That is Finnish Post Office. Yes, such a diva beer, but I'm a diva. No, I'm not, but you know. Yeah, I know a lot of people didn't expect me to drink, but hey, that's the point. If I was drinking some basic Heineken or Carlsberg, would that be any kind of a news? It's better that I'm drinking something surprising like fucking candy sour. I do love sour beers. How often do I drink? Well, it depends how you define drinking. If you ask me how often I get drunk, the answer is very rare. But if you are asking how often I drink one beer or one whiskey or whatever, then I could say at least a couple of times a week. But, I don't really get wasted these days anymore. I mean, sometimes when I'm at festival, when there's too much free alcohol or whatever. So, yeah, but even at Nordic Metal Cruise where we had free booze because we were playing at the gig, I didn't get wasted on either of the nights. I was just what I called spider drunk. Spider drunk means a little bit tipsy, but not exactly drunk. So you're kind of maintaining some level of not being in a driving condition. I mean, Americans probably are in driving condition even if they're totally pissed. But what I mean here is we're relatively tipsy, but not exactly drunk, if that makes sense. Yesterday, I was at this friend's place celebrating birthday, not mine. And I had a glass of sparkling wine. That's about it. And yes, I had a small whiskey at home, so counts like two. So, drinking in a way that I get intoxicated, very, very rarely. But yeah, it happens. It happens. Every now and then. Yeah, Malasabat cans look really cool. I like their design, how they are. Um, yeah, but sparkling wine is celebration. It's not like I buy it for myself. For in this case, it was for my friend because after all, it was the birthday. Yeah, do not drink too much. That's obviously the key. Do you reckon Lamp of Murmur will be actually interesting live? What is the most exciting release of this year so far, in your opinion? The new Vomitory album and the new Yoth Iri album. They're out in April and May. So those are so far my album of the year candidates, as I have heard the digital promos. What part of the Greece are you guys from? Oh, that's would be nice to see also. Are they what place are they? Which club are they playing? Is it the same, the Temple one, where they had this November event? So Crete and Greek, yes. Crete is a nice island, right? AN Club. Okay, I don't know the place obviously. I only visited two metal places in Athens: the Temple or Temple Bar, whatever it was called, and the Esqueleto, Esqueletar. How do you say it? Esqueletor. Anyway, nice bar. Yeah, I would gladly check out some of the music, but my hands are pretty much filled with physical review copies. Okay, AN Club. All right, all right. I hope to visit it some days. I gotta say, I learned so much about good Greek food when I was in Athens, and now I consider it very good. I didn't realize Greek food is so nice. So, what festivals are you people looking for this coming summer or whatever? Are you going outside your own country, or are you staying just at home, or what's the plan? You're right about the misotheist the reviews. the earlier ones. I haven't heard the new one. I know the label guy was a really uh, kind of a bit disappointed that I didn't like Misothaste too much. Now my problem with those dissonant black metal ones is often that it's almost like it's too focused on being dissonant. It's almost like similar than what some deathcore bands do with breakdowns. It's just too dominating. And while they're focusing on breakdowns or dissonant black metal cases being fucking dissonant, they're almost like forgetting how to write good fucking riffs, catchy, memorable riffs that kind of hit your brain. So yeah, but I haven't heard the new Misothaste album. Hello Zag, nice to have you here as well. Oh, Finnish food culture sucks big time. Traditional Finnish food is like tasteless. I mean, doesn't matter whatever you compare it to, but most Nordic foods are not that interesting, really. I don't know why it is so, but you know, Finnish food is just like very boring. If you go to places like France or Spain or Italy or I don't know, Eastern Europe, not to mention Asian countries or places like Latin America, United States, it's just a whole different ball game. I guess Finnish food culture is in a way like British food. It's just it's not that good in taste. I can't say I know anything about Dutch food except that I know poffertjes are fucking great. I don't know how you pronounce it, but I say poffertjes. All right, Vargian, that sounds like a pretty interesting deal you have there. What Greek food I tried? Various uh, different meats. Then there was this. I wasn't sure what they are made of. Maybe spinach, but those kind of fuck. I'll Google it. Hold on. Um, yes, these must be. I don't know how to say it, but I'm gonna copy paste to the fucking stream. So Spana coquefedes. Spana coquefedes. I don't know. But yeah, Greek spinach balls. Spanakopita. What I also find here. Spanakokeftedes. Spanakokeftedes. Well, those at least were really, really, yeah, kind of a meatballs with spinach. They were great. And then there was, I think, some pork meat, uh, probably some beef. I think we had lamb at some point. Basically, everything was really good. And this friend of mine, Dimitris, who invited me to the event, he was like, "Okay, you need to try this. You need to try that. You need to do this and that." So I was like, a bit like Spanish tapas. If you know what tapas is, it's a tiny portion of different plates. You like have a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Thank you, Zach, for your donation. Thank you. But anyway, yeah, kind of a tapas thing by Greek standards. So I was when I was at some point having lunch on my own. Usually I would eat with friends. See if I went to this nice restaurant by myself before I would meet my friends. I would just order some, little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of those, and the food was really, really good. And I don't know, for some reason, I have kind of a managed to dodge um, Greek food because it's not really a thing over here. I know one restaurant in my home city which is kind of praised for having good Greek food, and it has been here for decades, but I never been there. Um, so yeah, yeah, I guess you're totally right, Vargian. But it was a really really nice learning experience for me, like how good the food was. Like I've learned in Spain when we lived there, like how good those tapas plates are. A little bit sausage this, a little bit of that, blah blah blah. Sometimes you don't even go for the main courses because you have just multiple of small plates right there, and it's great. So we were kind of sharing and mixing things. Oh yeah, root beer is so good. I miss root beer from United States. But yeah, I really need to get more Greek food in my system. I feel it's like mandatory. Yeah, Vargan, I think you're right. Mediterranean food is, in general, considered one of the healthiest and also with a lot of taste. So yeah, I agree that especially when you consider that Portugal, Spain, Italy, France, um, of course Greece, they're all part of Mediterranean culture. I don't know how much Mediterranean food from the other side, like from Africa. I don't know how it is. All right, catch you later, Doc. Doc later. Next stream. It's not gonna be the first weekend of April because that's when I am in Oslo. So most likely it's April 11th because the first weekend of April will be indeed the Inferno Festival when I'm in Oslo. But yeah, 5 weeks. Yes, I totally agree with you, Snowjur, because yes, Greek, for instance, they have you know various vegetables. You might have tomatoes, cucumbers, and zucchinis, and of course olives and stuff like that. So it's and fish also. So it's good balance of everything, I guess. Yeah, olive oil is indeed good stuff. That is something which is of course very common in Spain too. So olives are something that I guess a lot of people don't really understand. And for many many years, I didn't eat olives at all. Even though olive oil is the basic thing what I use in cooking. Everybody's highly interested in what I use in cooking, but anyway. And now I'm thinking what I should ask for the last giveaway because I guess it's soon time up. And then I will do a little bit of gaming streaming. And I'm like, what should I ask? Is there something Rauta related I can ask? And I'm thinking, what could it be? I'm kind of running out of ideas at this point. I was going to ask you something about my bands, and then I realized it's either going to be too easy or too complicated. Okay. Vargian, name 3 bands I have played with. It's weird to dislike pineapple. I dislike pineapple on a pizza, but pineapple, fresh pineapple is actually good. Yeah, that's the question. It's easy to know those 2 bands. I never played in AN. All right. Catch you later, Mr. Sire. Take care in cold Canada. In AN was just a side project of my Annihilator's colleague, and that had a different vocalist. Yeah, well, this War Inquisitor never actually became more of a thing than a couple of songs. The funny thing about War Inquisitor was that it was 2 guys from Torture Killer and then me, but for some reason it never became more of a thing. It was kind of an Angel Corpse kind of a thing. Too bad we never got to that thing to fly. So I think we just had like 2 or 3 songs, and that's about it. For some reason, that project died very quickly. Oh, yes, Tia, that's correct. Nightside, Annihilus, and Zurich. Correct. I mentioned this band Zurich to this guy who wants to release Annihilator's previous album on tape, and he was asking like, "Yeah, do you think there could be a comeback for Zurich?" And I'm like, "Dude, that was more than 30 years. More than 30 years ago, and like nobody even could remember the songs. Like, there's no point even in that." I haven't heard the new Venom song. I rarely listen to singles. I made the exception of listening to Arch Enemy single and At the Gate single when I was in Spain because I didn't have my review albums right there. And already after listening to those singles, I felt like this is so stupid. When I listen to some good song, I want to hear more, but I can't because there are only singles out. So I was like, fuck it. That's why I don't normally do singles. Like, I didn't listen to the new Mayhem singles when they were released. I was just waiting patiently to do the actual album. So there it is. I could ask something about the album I'm gonna give away, but you can very quickly figure out the answer. So I'm All right, let's ask something Nightside related because we're having the 30th anniversary. So yeah, it is with C. Uh, it is Cyric, like you mentioned it. That is actually god of death in Forgotten Realms fantasy setting. So I figured out, hey, it's a suitable name. Now, some people might think, yeah, okay, you took the name from Dungeons and Dragons game. Guess what? So did Caius. You know, Caius, like the stoner band. It is also from the same fucking role-playing game, just different setting. Yes, Znur, that's exactly what I think about teasers and trailers. I don't even watch them anymore. Sometimes movies are ruined by stupid trailers because sometimes the best stuff is on those trailers. Okay, now I figured out the question. There is a very direct link, in a way, between Imbel Nazarene and Nightside. Can you guess what it is? This is the official giveaway question for this band Riadas, which is also in a way related to this question. So this giveaway CD goes to the one who can figure out what's the direct link between Imbel Nazarene and Nightside, apart from us, playing at the same event, obviously. Yeah. I'm glad you liked the Annihilator stuff on Primitive Finland. Well, the whole compilation thing is nice. No, Zach, the link is not that we are both Finnish bands, but good guess. And I never finished a new Resident Evil game. In fact, I have never finished a Resident Evil game. I'm actually playing GTA 5 at the moment. I'll give you a hint if that Imbel Nazarene Nightside connection is too hard. And no, the answer is also not. You both play black metal. No, the answer is not that we played at the same event. No, the thing is, okay, this needs to be. We used the same studio. Which one? Well, the label is good guess. That's not, but I already gave you the hint. The connection is in a studio. Osmos would have been otherwise a good question, a good answer. Well, that's yeah, you're correct. Tico Tico is the right answer. I think it is still operational. And congratulations on the win. This was a special round, special stream because 3 giveaways. I'm gonna keep this pattern going on for the future as well. Like, meaning, if there are enough donations, I will give more than one CD. Because that's kind of a covers the... Where the hell is the knife? That kind of a covers the costs. Because otherwise I'm paying these from my own pocket. And my pockets are not very deep, unfortunately. So, here we have Ia giveaway thingy. And that will be Finnish black metal CD. Here we have. So, 3 CDs in total given away on this stream. 1 go to Greece, and these 2, I don't even know where the fuck they're going, but I guess I will find out when I get the information. So, 1 to Ia, where are you from, by the way? 1 from My Rain, where are you from? And 1 from Vargian in Greece. Then I have going this Death Worship CD, which I also gave away on the channel to Philippines. That was pretty wild. No, we don't celebrate St. Patrick's Day here. So, I mean, some of my friends might celebrate it going to a bar. Yeah, he's from the US. Oh, fuck. You know, the funny thing is, yeah, you have to wait. We're unable to send anything to US because of your government. So, anyway, write me your address. I'll send you when I can. The sad thing is, I already have 2 parcels waiting to be sent to the United States. And we cannot send there anything. Just today I checked if the situation has changed. But because of US government, we cannot send anything but documents to United States. So there has been at least 2 parcels waiting since September or something. So fucking sucks. But nothing I can do about it. Well, Oregon, I'm happy that I got you off guard with that one. No, we never used Ostia Studio. I have heard about Split of Kaevum. We talked about it on Rauta Discord a while ago. All right, yeah, if you don't mind giving your CD away, of course I will send it to someone else. But I can totally save it for you anyway. Yeah, Zach, the new new Vomitory album is really good. Yeah. Eventually things will change, and I can keep the CD waiting for you when it's possible to send stuff to United States. Yes, yeah, good, good, good. I will save the email, much like I have been waiting for the two other people as well when I can send. All right, thanks. Yeah, I got your email. California. Oh, surprised email. I got some direct email from Ladlow label. Pretty weird because I've been in touch with the label representative for years, and this is the first time in years this person contacts me. I guess I get back to it when I'm not drinking beer. Yeah, Zach, we talked about that Sebastian Bach replacing Dee Snider because Dee Snider was cool about it. Anyway, people, I think it's time for me to say good night to you. I'm almost out of my beer, and now I'm frankly speaking getting too tired even to play. I kind of wanted to continue this GTA 5 stream tonight as well because I didn't do it yesterday. And unfortunately, I'm now getting too tired because I have to wake up for the animals and shit in the morning. So, anyway, guys and gals, I'm gonna call it a night here. And there are a bunch of CDs, giveaway CDs waiting to be sent. I hope people will be sending their addresses. Well, yeah, I already sent that, but they're like 4 CDs, of which only one has given me the address, and then I have one for Tia, who won the February stream CD. So I need to get these off my desk. But now I wish you people good night. Thanks for being on the stream, and once again asking good questions. Big thanks to those who donated for Rauta cause. Like mentioned, these donations will be used for future Rauta trips. And this now means our funding with the current income is making secure that I can book flights to Beyond the Gates festival this coming August. And Beyond the Gates is one of my favorite festivals because it's beautiful city with some really good bands and really good venues as well. So that is something that you people, if you're ever considering coming to Nordic countries, especially going to Norway for some metal festivals, Beyond the Gates and Inferno both are really good options. If you're coming, you can ask also Tia. Tia has been there both festivals as well. That's actually how I met Tia, I think for the first time, that we were both at the same festival as a couple of Finns. So since Inferno is already taken care of, I'm now putting my eyesight on August. So it seems like we're going there for a special trip, and can already start planning that a little bit later in terms of interviews and all. But money-wise, we're in a good place in such respect. And then there are some events later in the year which are definitely, fitting the bill as well. And of course, as always, you can totally ask me about the possibility of any given interviews for the events where I'm going. Cannot promise anything because it's not up to me when a band wants to or wants not to do an interview. But I'll do my best to deliver you these hopefully interesting pieces like Imbel Nazarene. So yeah, let's make things happen. That's obviously the aim here. So we'll see about what comes next. Turku Saatanalle weekend is there next week, and hopefully I can roll you some interviews out in a couple of weeks. Considering now it's 7th of March. I think if we make interviews on 14th, we should have the first interview out 27th. So in 3 weeks, given the edit time needed and all that considered. So hopefully 3 interviews from Turku Saatanalle Fest. And by the time we are rolling them out, we should have already stuff from Inferno Festival if things go as planned. And so far, all the Inferno festivals have always meant an interesting dose of interviews for us. So that is very, very likely to happen. But more about that later on and all that stuff. And to answer the question about Anal Kant fan, I can give you this. I just saw the gayest guy on earth. I just saw the gayest guy on earth. I just saw the gayest guy on earth. Did that answer your question? And Tia pretty much nailed it with the Beyond the Gates comment. All right, Jack Razor, there's your comment, there's your reply to your question. Now, good night, people, and once again, thanks for being me with the stream. Thank you, Malla Sepat, for the beers, and next stream in about 5 weeks. Stay tuned for more reviews. If you want to support Rauta through Patreon and become one of those members who get to see stuff before others, you can always opt here. Or then you can just hang around for free. Whatever you like. Anyway, stay metal and good night. Bye-bye.